So to create a map like this is obviously very, very expensive. And to do that, what these people often did was to solicit subscribers. And we're fortunate enough, very few copies of this map survive with the actual title page and with the list of all of the people that subscribed to this map. And I haven't counted the number of names on here, but it's quite a few. And so each of these men would have contributed a certain amount of money ahead of time to fund the whole project. There was a lot of competition always between the French and the English and which city was larger, France, Paris or London. And so Roque took it upon himself to make this map. And he began surveying all the neighborhoods, and he used a Waywiser, which is a great big wheel that is it's 8 feet 3 inches. And so 640 revolutions of that wheel is 1 mile. And so he actually surveyed, took that Waywiser down every one of these roads in London and surveyed about 10,000 acres to create this map. And then, of course, that's only the first phase. He had to then draw all of those roads onto a piece of paper, and then it was given to the engraver, whose last name was Pine. And he was a friend of the artist William Hogarth's and was the engraver to the king. And he actually went about engraving all of the sheets that comprise this map. And it's a very difficult process because, as you would know from trying to create the reproduction, all of the roads from one sheet have to match up exactly on the other sheet. So when you're engraving a copper plate, you have to make sure that they align perfectly. So when each of these plates was prepared, the engraver had to take the original survey, and usually what they would do is they would either use a mirror device to actually look into the mirror and transfer the image to the plate so it would be in reverse. So when it's printed, it comes out the same way, in the same direction as the original. But for maps, often they would actually put a grid on the plate first so that they could get the exact dimensions of each of the roads. And for some of these maps, as you can see, this one is very complex and very detailed, and you would have to make sure that all of the dimensions were exactly correct. But what they would do when they actually assembled this, and there is some advertisement from the 18th century describing how these should be assembled, and so each sheet would have been cut and pasted together to create the huge wall map that it is, and then they would have been pasted to linen and attached to rollers. And we have another wall map in the collection that was glued to linen and attached to rollers in the 18th century about the same time. This was the largest map of London created during the 18th century, and this is the largest map of North America created in the 18th century. This copy was assembled in 1733. It's on its original linen from 1733. It's got a silk tape binding, which this would have had, and it's on its original roller and ledge. That was called the ledge, which is simply just a piece of frame molding at the top. And these were rolled up and then could be unrolled when you wanted to consult them.
What we did was nothing compared to the original cartography and the original engraving of the map. But yes, it took our designer about 3.5 weeks to reproduce the map and match all of the edges, top and bottom, to make it a complete map. I might add, the designer had quite a good time reading all of the little details into the map. Along the Thames, there were gallows that were depicted, which is quite interesting as well, which is a sign of the period in which the map was made, which we found quite fascinating.